Capricorn, what's going on? I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. As always, my name is Mel and welcome to my channel, Divine Feminine Works. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, and spirituality. So if those are the things that interest you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, Capricorn, this is the astro forecast and taroscope for the month of October 2020. I know this video is coming out super late, much later than I would have liked. Originally, I started shooting these videos at the end of September and I wanted to get them out right when the month started so you had all of the information and all of the guided messages you needed as you worked your way through the month. But as the astrology suggests, and as I'm going to get to in a second, none of that happened. And I had to take a break. Like I said, I started shooting the videos at the end of September and then they just were not going right. The energy was off. I was having technical difficulties and I just felt so low energy. So I was like, you know what, let me take a break. Let me take a rest and then get back to it a little later. I also like to do things as I'm guided to do them. A lot of times I find that when you start pushing when you're not supposed to, that's when things don't go right. So I'm like, if I'm being met with resistance right now, maybe it's time for me to not do these. Maybe I'm being guided to take a rest, which I was. And I'll get to why in a second. But it was during that rest period for a week or so, a week and a half, where I was just like, oh, let me take a look at the astrology, particularly my chart, and try to see why this is happening. And of course, I found the answer. We've got Mars retrograde in Aries, square the great conjunction in Capricorn. So that is Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in Capricorn. And all of that is square to Mars in Aries that is currently retrograde. So how does that play out? Generally speaking, it means that any action that you want to take towards something, and it all depends on where this all falls in your chart. But any action that you want to take towards achieving something, towards working towards something, is going to be met with resistance. It's going to be met with roadblocks, with delays, with detours, with dead ends. That's that whole great conjunction in Capricorn. But when you add Mars retrograde to the mix, it's like you don't even have the energy to do things. That's why I was feeling so lethargic and so sluggish. It's because Mars is retrograde in Aries. And Mars retrograde in Aries is actually my 12th house. And I just realized the other day, 12th house also governs sleep. So my sleeping patterns have been off. There are some days I'm sleeping a lot. There are other days I can't even sleep at all. And so it's all jacked up, which is affecting my general energy, the energy I have to physically do things. And the great conjunction is taking place right in between my 9th and 10th houses, which basically affects my spiritually based business, namely Divine Feminine Work. So that is why I was met with all this resistance and having such a hard time getting the videos out the first time. So that being the case, I was like, all right, took a little break, then I got back at it, but I was like, I cannot skip a month. I can't just not put these videos out. So just know that it's taking everything I have right now to put these videos out and get them out to you and get this information out to you. But that's just how things are. That's just how things are playing out. And I wanted to give not only that explanation, but that story so that you could see how astrology works in real life and how it can often affect us. And we don't even realize it. Again, I had to really, it wasn't until I took a break and took a rest and was like, yo, let me look at my chart and see how this is playing out, where it finally made sense to me. And I think that a lot more people need to do that. Astrology tells us so much. It really does. And it's not some hocus pocus pie in the sky type thing. Astrology is a science. Above anything else, it's a science, and it can really bring a lot of insight and clarity into our lives. It's not gospel, right? It's not the be all end all. And a lot of times things don't play out in a very textbook sort of way. But I really do feel like astrology can tell us so much about what's going on in our lives and why things are happening. So I wanted to give you that little story so that you can see how it works and see how, it plays out in real life. But anyway, let's get into the astrology of October 2020 for you, Capricorn, and see how this month is shaping up for you guys. So we're already we're past the middle of the month now, right? So we're kind of getting into the third quarter of the month. So let's talk about what has transpired in October thus far. And you can use this information to sort of like check against what you've been experiencing this month. Like maybe it vibes with this, or maybe there's an alternate explanation for the astrology as it pertains to you in particular, Capricorn. But in any event, let's start at the beginning. So we started the month of October with a full moon in Aries, and full moons illuminate. They either show you the culmination of something or it uncovers something that's been hidden for a while. So for you, Capricorn, the full moon in Aries was in your 4th house of home and domestic affairs. So there may have been situations with close family members that came to light. There may have been a home project, something having to do with property that you own that came to a culmination at the beginning of the month. Whatever it is, it might have been a source of frustration, because along with the full moon being in Aries, we also had Mars retrograde in Aries, like I was explaining before. So there could have been some delays. There could have been you could have started to understand why a home project, a property project, something going on with a close family member, a mother even, was taking a long time, or you were finding that things were slowed down, or you were met with resistance. That could have been illuminated to you at the time of the full moon on October 1st. And again, it could have been really a source of frustration, a source of anger, that kind of a thing. So that's sort of how we started out the month. And just to go into the astrology of October generally, October is a pretty intense month. We start the month on the 1st with a full moon. We end the month on the 31st with a full moon. And then we've got a super new moon smack in the middle of the month. So there's a lot of emotions running high this month. There's a lot of illumination, a lot of things. A lot of truths are becoming uncovered. I feel like particularly as we get into Scorpio season, a lot of things are going to be coming uncovered for all of us, I think. But in any event, that is how we started October. Then on October 4th, we had Pluto going direct in the sign of Capricorn. And like I said, Pluto is part of that great conjunction in Capricorn of Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. Pluto is the last of those 3 planets to have gone direct. Jupiter went direct on September 12th. Saturn went direct on September 29th, and then we had Pluto that went direct on October 4th. So all of these planets are now going direct. They're all operating at full speed. They're all operating in their normal sort of way, especially Saturn, because Saturn is at home in Capricorn. That's its home sign. So Saturn is extremely potent, and that is what is causing these delays, roadblocks, detours, challenges. That is all due to Saturn in Capricorn right now. And this great conjunction with Pluto having now gone direct is playing out in your 1st house of self, Capricorn. So there's a lot of things with respect to your own person, your physical appearance, your attitude, your outlook on life. All of that has been in flux. There may have been some personal goals that you've been working on probably as early as late 2017 that are still playing out right now. Maybe some of you have had issues with weight that you've been trying to get underway. Maybe there have been personal health issues that you've been dealing with since the 1st house rules the physical body. There may have been changes to your physical appearance that you've been working on, or that you've been having issues with, especially since the great conjunction went retrograde and now has gone direct. So there's a lot that's going on with you personally, within your personal space, your personal body. Your outlook on life is changing. Your personal philosophy may be changing right now. So that is where this is playing out with Pluto having gone direct in the sign of Capricorn. So after that, we have what, as I'm filming this video, this is actually October 18th. So last week, October 11th through October 17th was like the highlighted week of the month. And I say this because we had the sun in Libra square to that great conjunction in Capricorn. And I feel like last week was a very illuminating week. It plays out differently for everyone, right? But I feel like there's a lot of information that came to our consciousness last week, because again of the sun being square the great conjunction. So we had the sun in Libra, and that is your 10th house of career and public life. And that was square to the Great Conjunction, which again is your first house of self. So I feel like there was a lot of things playing out between your career, between your public life, your reputation, and your own personal sense of self that was illuminating for you last week. Things may have happened in your work sector that made you look at things differently, that changed your perspective on something. There may also have been something that happened in public, right? Because the 10th house also rules public life. So maybe something happened apart from the home, like away from the home, outside, like literally in public. Or something may have happened like on the internet that affected how you view yourself, self-esteem, self-worth issues, and that might have come illuminated last week with this tense aspect of the sun square the Great Conjunction. Either way, I think that last week was pretty intense, but also very illuminating. So take stock of what happened to you last week and see if you had any aha moments or if you had any sort of clarity on some of the things that are going on, excuse me, in your life, Capricorn. Also last week, smack dab in the middle of the week, we had Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. Mercury retrograde, the textbook definition of it is that communication breaks down. So you have issues with your phone. You may have issues with appliances, issues with cars, trains, buses. All of that stuff can break down, have glitches, have problems. Mercury retrograde is also a time when there's a lot of miscommunication, a lot of misunderstanding, Freudian slips of the tongue. All of that stuff is characteristic of Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury being in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is all about getting to the heart of the matter. Scorpio is like the detective of the zodiac. It wants to know the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. That is all Scorpio. And with Mercury being there, communications, the way that we speak to people is all geared towards getting to the heart of the matter. But with Mercury going retrograde in this sign, there's so much miscommunication and it can lead to really like hurt feelings. Scorpio is deep, it's intense. It's like being at the bottom of the ocean. And as we know, water represents emotions. And so emotions are running very high. People can be very sensitive, particularly to what is being said to them, what is being said about them. That is all characteristic of Mercury in Scorpio. And again, with Mercury having gone retrograde, misunderstandings and miscommunications are really high. And for you, Capricorn, this is happening in your 11th house. So Mercury retrograde is affecting your friendships and your goals. So the way that your friends are speaking to you, the way that you speak to them, there could be a lot of miscommunication. There may be issues within your friendship relationships. Maybe you feel like someone hasn't been truthful to you. Maybe you feel like someone is betraying you or has a lack of loyalty. A lot of this stuff is going to come to the surface with Mercury retrograde here. And again, just be mindful of how you speak to others. How others speak to you may really hurt you deeply or may really cause you to get emotional. But remember, Mercury retrograde does not last forever. It only lasts for 3 weeks. So hang in there and do the best that you can. Always make sure that you double check whatever you're writing, whatever you're sending out, and just think before you speak and make sure that you're speaking clearly and in a way that you can be understood. So that's Mercury retrograde. Then we ended last week with a new moon in Libra. It was a super new moon in Libra. So the energy was super ripe in order to have new beginnings. Potent new beginnings is like the key phrase for that new moon in Libra. And that was happening in your 10th house of career and public life. So even though you may be experiencing a lot of upheaval in this house right now, I think that there is the energy is conducive to completely changing and revamping your career. Maybe you want to get into a new industry altogether. Maybe you want to advance in the career that you're at. For you, Capricorn, I feel like the energy is particularly ripe for this, particularly with the new moon that just passed. That being the case, the new moon had a lot of tense sort of astrology around it. square to the Great Conjunction. So again, just like I was explaining before, how last week was illuminating because the sun was square the Great Conjunction. The new moon was doing the same thing. So just know that any steps that you're taking in order to have a new beginning, in order to create a new beginning for you career-wise, is going to be met with resistance, and there's still going to be a lot of roadblocks, delays, a lot of things to frustrate us, and that sort of prevent us from getting things off the ground. That energy is not going to last forever, but you kind of have to look at it this way. Think of the Great Conjunction as like an earthquake, right? And it completely has shaken the earth underneath us. It's sort of given us what we thought was stable is now crumbling under our feet. And you know that after earthquakes, there are certain, there can be tremors, right? So it's like if I'm putting a cup right here, and there's still tremors after the earthquake, the cup can move, it can shift, it can fall off the table. That's sort of an example of how this energy is at play. So if you're trying to start something new, right? Let's say you're looking to advance in your career and you're trying to get a promotion, or you're trying to do certain things in order to get noticed so that you can get a better position. While you're doing that, things are still unstable. I mean, take everything that's going on right now. A lot of companies are going under. A lot of companies are downsizing because of the pandemic. So imagine trying to get a promotion while this is all going on. It may not take shape at the very time that you're expecting it to. So it may not take shape right now. It's like the ground has to settle and the tremors have to stop before anything stable can be placed. Like I was saying with that cup, I placed this cup here. If there are a whole bunch of tremors, I don't know where this cup is going to end up. But once the tremors subside, then I can say, okay, I can place my cup here because it's stable now. It's not going to fall over. It's not going to tip over. And that's the energy that we're working with, particularly with the new moon in Libra that just passed. So keep that in mind. Today is the new moon happened on Friday. Today is Sunday. We're still sort of in that energy. So depending on when you watch this video, that energy still may be available to you. If not, just take a look at what was transpiring around the time of the new moon, and you can be able to tell how things are going to take shape in the future. All right, so now we're up to this week, and the main thing this week is that the moon. I'm like tongue-tied right now. The sun is going to move into the sign of Scorpio on October 22nd. So that means that our focus, our energy is going to be directed towards Scorpio type things. And Scorpio type things are getting to the heart of the matter, uncovering the truth of certain things, transforming our lives and changing our lives around us, having a rebirth. Sex. Scorpio is the sign of sex. So having sex and intimacy in relationships, those are the type of things that our minds and our consciousness are going to be focused on once the sun moves into Scorpio on October 22nd. And Scorpio happens to be your 11th house, and that's the house of friendships and goals. So for you, Capricorn, once the sun moves into Scorpio, I feel like you're going to be taking stock of the friends that you have around you and the people that you associate with. Do they really vibe with who you are? Do you have people around you who are not, aligned with you? People, like I said, who may not be loyal. People who may be talking about you behind your back. Like, these are the type of things that you're going to be focused on during Scorpio season. It's almost like you're going to take a magnifying glass to the friendships and your associations and seeing what's really what and who's really who. Also, I feel like you're going to get in touch with a lot of the goals that you have in life, what you want out of life, what makes you emotionally fulfilled. I feel like that's also what's going to be a highlight for you during Scorpio season. And then finally, we get to the last week of October, and we end the month, like I said earlier, with a full moon again. So we've had 2 full moons this month, which is partly why this month is pretty intense. And it's a blue moon. You know that phrase, once in a blue moon? Well, that's because it's 2 full moons in 1 month. So it's sort of a rarity. Not really. It happens every couple of years. But in any event, we end the month with a full moon in Taurus. And this is happening in your 5th house of self-expression. Self-expression is all about creative ideas, creative endeavors, passion, what you're passionate about, standing out from the crowd, expressing yourself, the individuality of who you are, and children. This house also governs children. It governs romantic relationships, fun, entertainment, sports, gambling. All of those things fall into the purview of the 5th house. And it's those things that are going to be illuminated under the light of that full moon. Keep in mind, this full moon is going to be conjunct Uranus in Taurus, and that means that whatever becomes uncovered is going to be pretty astonishing and or surprising. It's going to be unexpected. It may have something to do with your children if you have any. It may have to do with a romantic partner if you're dating. It may have to do with gambling. It may have to do with a creative endeavor. It may have something may become illuminated that has to do with you as an individual. And that's how that full moon is going to play out. And that's how we end the month. And we're on our way to eclipse season. We're going to have an eclipse in November and eclipse in December. So the end of the year is going to be very interesting. It's going to be a bit chaotic. I mean, we're already used to this chaos of 2020. 2020 has been just a year of chaos. So I think that we're well suited in order to deal with whatever comes up. But just brace yourselves and try your best to, like I said, it's like an earthquake. The ground underneath us is crumbling in order for us to be able to build new things once the dust settles. So hang in there. Things might have to get worse before they get better, but just know that we are on our way to a new world, which I believe is going to be a lot better than the one that we're leaving behind. So that was the astrology for October 2020. Capricorn, let's get into the tarot and see what messages Spirit has for you for this month. All right, so we're going to start out with the oracle cards, and then we're going to circle back with the tarot for more specific messages. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, Capricorn, first card out is love. All right. Obviously not a bad thing. So this is a number 4, and I feel like it's talking about having stability in love. For some of you, I feel like because the full moon on October 31st is happening in your 5th house of romance. Love comes in many different forms, right? We have love for family members, love for friends, love for partners, and even love for partners can come in different forms. We have the love that is like of service, right? But we also have love that's romantic, and that kind of love falls in the 5th house. I feel like there's something that's going to be illuminated with love, particularly as it pertains to you, around the 31st. That's going to have to do with stability in love. And what do I mean by that? Like, maybe some of you have been dating and you're looking for more stability. You're looking for commitment. I feel like something along those lines is going to be illuminated for you around the full moon on October 31st. But let's take some more cards and see if I'm right. We've got no need to worry, which is always great, right? So whatever happens, and remember I said the full moon on the 31st is going to be conjunct Uranus. So it's going to be surprising. It's going to be unexpected. But whatever comes up, there's no need for you to worry. Stability in love is assured for you, Capricorn. So even if you find out something that is unsettling, you don't have to worry. I'm hearing because it can go of one of two ways. Either whatever comes up, let's say between you and a romantic partner, right? Whatever comes up, regardless of how unsettling it is, you can either, at least now you'll know what you're working with so you can fix it, or you'll know what you're working with so you can discard it and you can find real love. So regardless of which way it goes, you're going to be okay. That's why there's no need to worry. Then we got all that glitters. You see these masks over here? Something is going to be uncovered. And what number is this? Oops. 16. Whatever is uncovered is meant to be uncovered. This card denotes that all that glitters is not gold. What you're seeing is not necessarily what the reality of the situation is. And so these masks, these masks are coming off. And the truth is going to be revealed to you. We've got time out. And 3 and a 7 make 10, which reduces to 1. It's a new beginning. Again, I'm seeing like all the cards are being put on the table. So now you know what's what. And you're going to see this person. And I feel like this person may be someone that you are romantically involved with, or that you have romantic love for. You're going to see this person for who they are, and you're going to see the situation for what it is. And a timeout is necessary. I'm hearing like calling time on the play is what I'm hearing. Like, it's almost like Capricorn, you're going to be like, yo, timeout. Explain this to me again? Or timeout. Like, now you really need to tell me what's going on. Like, I don't necessarily feel it's a timeout like you're taking time away from this person. I feel like almost like you're going to call a timeout on whatever they're doing. If that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. It's like, yo, pause. What's going on? What did you say? What is this? Like, I feel like you, again, with Mercury in Scorpio, I feel like y'all are going to be playing detective. Something is going to come to your attention that's going to make you be like, whoa, time out. What? What's going on? A lot of you are like workaholics. A lot of you, y'all are about your money. Capricorn is all about their money. And I feel like you are focused on your work, focused on all of that stuff. But I feel like whatever comes up, again, particularly around this full moon on October 31st, it's going to make you take a time out from what you're doing. Like, you could be working and you hear something or you get wind of something. You're like, whoa, time out. Let me put my work to the side and actually address this. That's what I'm getting with this timeout card. It's time for you to stop what you're doing and address the situation, because something is going to come up that's going to make you take a timeout and address this situation. Ooh. And then we've got Judgment. This card says, I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. I'm hearing no judgment zone. Yeah, for those of you who are involved with someone romantically and there's something that you find out, I don't feel like you're going to be judgmental about it. I feel like you're going to be like, you know what? I understand. That's why I feel like there's no need to worry. Because whatever comes up, I feel like you may understand where this person is coming from, or you're just not going to be in a place of judgment. Like, you're not going to be judgmental. I feel like the other person, if they've been keeping something from you, I feel like it's because they didn't want you to judge them. They want to have a no judgment zone with you. And they felt like you might have been judgmental towards them, which is why they kept whatever they've been keeping a secret or under wraps, or they've been wearing a mask around you. But I really feel like you aren't going to be judgmental about it. I feel like you're going to be like, all right, I understand. And that's very important when we're talking about love, particularly love that's stable. It's a no judgment zone. It's when you start judging and putting conditions on things where love becomes very fleeting, right? If you are involved with someone and they're constantly judging what you do, they're constantly making you feel bad about who you are or the truth of who you are, it's not a place where you want to stay, right? It's not a place where you want to stick around. It's not something that you want to have a commitment to, because it's always going to make you feel bad. But if you have a no judgment zone, it's very conducive to having love that's stable and that's committed. And I feel like with Saturn in Capricorn in your first house, I think that this is the change of outlook that you guys are having. Remember, I said the Great Conjunction is like an earthquake. It is unstable ground. It's breaking things down so that we can build something up that's better, that's more stable. I feel like you guys are learning to not be so judgmental. That's where you're changing on a very personal level. All right, let's get some more tarot cards. Let's get some tarot cards and see what other messages we have. This is for Capricorn for October 2020. All right, we've got Queen of Swords. Yeah, this is communication. Yeah, okay. You could be dealing with an air sign, and that is Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. And I feel like they may not have wanted to talk to you because they felt like you were going to do this. Like you were going to chop their head off if they told you the truth of the situation. We've also got the Emperor. I feel like this is you. Even though this is a Aries, right? The Emperor, you also could be dealing with an Aries as well. I feel like this is you because the Emperor is very strategic. They sit at the top of the food chain. And that's definitely Capricorn type energy. I feel like this is you. And I feel like you perhaps run shit when it comes to your relationships for some of you. I feel like y'all are in that leadership position, which is why someone may feel apprehensive coming to tell you something. And then we've got the 10 of Wands. Now, this whole situation could be reversed. This could be you being afraid to speak to someone, particularly maybe if you're dealing with someone who is an Aries or someone who has a very strong personality. You may have not wanted to show them your true colors because you were afraid of being judged. You know, take it as it resonates. It could be you or it could be the other person. But whoever has been wearing the mask, it became overbearing to the point where now they feel like they need to take it off because it's just been too much. It's time for you to let all of that go and get to the heart of the matter. Again, with Mercury in Scorpio and the sun about to go into Scorpio, like nothing can remain hidden now. Everything is going to come out to the surface, and it's time to drop that mask, and it's time to really be authentic. And that's how you have stability in love and relationships, and romantic relationships in particular, is that you are your authentic self. No judgment zone. Don't judge yourself and don't judge the other person. That's how you have stability in love. But again, it's time to drop those masks. It's time to drop all of that and get real. Let's get 3 more cards out here. We've got the sun. Again, this is talking about sun and Scorpio, but this is also talking about illumination. And look at how we have these two, see these two little angels? They're under the light of the sun. They look happy. Are they naked? Well, they're just about naked. And they're holding hands. Like, again, it's like when you put all the cards out on the table, that's when you can have this positivity, this love, this, I'm getting this feeling right now, this warm feeling all over my body right now. And that's what you want. I mean, that's what we all want to a certain extent, right? You want a relationship that's stable. You want a relationship where everyone is truthful as well. And again, once you drop that mask, once that person drops that mask, that's when you can start working towards having this stability. All right, let's get another one here. We've got the 6 of Cups. For some of you, whatever this mask is, it's something you've been holding on since childhood. You've been wearing this mask for a long time, or this person who's wearing this mask has been wearing it for a long time. It's these deep, something about inner child, like it's an inner child wound or trauma that has gone unaddressed, and someone has just slapped a mask on it. And it's time to let that go. It's time to let that go. For some of you, and I'm getting a very small group of some of you, this could be someone from your past. And I feel like this was a relationship that was cut off, like almost to the point where someone started to show you who they really were. And not to say that who they really were was devious or deceitful or anything like that. They just started to show you their true colors and you weren't having it. Or if it's reversed, take it however it resonates. And so the relationship was deaded. Like the relationship was over. I feel like one or both of you are rethinking this whole relationship, and it's like, all right, I really want to tell the person my truth. Like I really want to express myself to this person now. But that's for a very small amount of you. I think for a majority of you, this is someone that you're currently dealing with. Or even if you're not dealing with anyone right now, it's like Spirit wants you to know this information for the person that's going to come towards you, or for someone that you're going to deal with in the future. Like you need to approach it with a no judgment zone kind of attitude, and you need to approach it with like being your authentic self. I really think, Capricorn, it's you needing to be your authentic self because you guys are really undergoing a personal transformation. But this is like childhood wounds that need to be addressed, inner child issues. Some of you, This great conjunction has forced you to do a lot of shadow work, a lot of inner emotional work. And you need to know that it's okay to be your authentic self, flaws and all. It's okay. And you will be loved for who you are. You can have stability with being exactly who you are. You don't have to pretend to be something that you're not. You don't have to try to hide or mask the things that you think other people won't like. You can be your authentic self and it's perfectly fine. That's where you're going to find love. Let's get one more card out here. We've got the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is the Sun in Capricorn. Yeah, you guys have been feeling very guarded. See this fortress? Like that's sort of how you keep your emotions and how whatever it is that you feel that you can't show other people, you've been keeping that heavily under wraps. Yeah, and look at that, what we got at the bottom of the deck. We've got the Lovers. You can, like I said, when I pulled out the very first card, like stability in love, lasting love, this kind of energy. And if you notice, they have an infinity symbol around them. That can be yours. But y'all are holding on to a lot of regret, sorrow. I really feel like it's unaddressed childhood wounds, inner child issues that you need to let go of, that you need to, I'm getting like, just let it down. It's like you've got a book bag full of bricks that you're holding, that you're carrying. You need to let it down. You need to let it down so that you can have this love that you so desperately want, because you know y'all want it. You guys are very practical. You guys are very about your money. You're about success. And sometimes you guys, it's not that you guys aren't emotional. You know, we're all emotional regardless of whatever sign we are. But I feel like sometimes you guys just put emotions on the back burner because you feel like there's real things that need to be addressed right now. But the more you put that emotional stuff on the back burner, the more bricks you are putting into this book bag that you're holding. It's time to lay the book bag down. Put all the cards on the table. Empty that emotional gunk that you've been carrying, and real stable love can be yours. Let's get some clarification out here. I want to get some clarification on this Queen of Swords. Why is this Queen of Swords card here? We've got child. Again, I feel like these are inner child issues. You also could have been dealing with someone who was younger than you. Again, this could be an air sign that was younger than you, but really I feel like it speaks to inner child issues. Others of you, this could have to do with a child. Whatever you've been holding could have to do with a physical child, perhaps your child. Like I said, this full moon that's happening on October 31st is happening in your 5th house, which covers children. So children may be a particular issue for you right now. Let's get one on the Emperor. Marriage. This could have been someone you were married to. This could be someone you are currently married to. I feel like some of you, this is your spouse. This is your spouse that you feel may be judging you or that you may judge them. But a lot of you, this is a marriage, has to do with a child. You get the point. Let's get one on this. I don't need 10 of Wands. I already know what this is. Let's get one on this 6 of Cups. I feel like the 6 of Cups, again, has to do with a childhood issue or trauma. But let's get some clarity. Let's get one on this 6 of Cups. Okay, that's too many. Let's get one on this 6 of Cups. Something doesn't want to come out. Oh, yes. You heard what I just said, right? I said something doesn't want to come out. That's exactly what it is. They're not going to tell me what the 6 of Cups is because you guys hold this so deep under the surface. You are your partner. Again, take it as it resonates. Y'all are, and I said this was a fortress, right? You guys are holding, it's almost like you're holding this thing captive. Whatever this emotional trauma is, whatever this thing that you feel like you're going to be judged about, y'all are holding on to it so tight. It's not even letting me pull any cards. Real talk. But with Mercury in Scorpio and the sun about to go into Scorpio, you guys are going to have no choice but to air out whatever this is. And, you know, don't be afraid. There really is no need to worry. I'm feeling anxious right now because I feel like you guys, you hold on to this so tightly, you really don't want to let it go for fear of being judged, for fear of losing what it is that you have. You guys are also very much about stability. You guys are a cardinal sign, but you guys are very focused on having stable things in your life. And you feel like if you let this thing out, if you are your authentic self, that stability is just going to crumble. And it's not. This is a no judgment zone that you're in. And even if you are met with judgment or you're met with an outcome that you don't necessarily like, there still is no need to worry. Because if your relationship can't weather this particular storm, then it's not for you anyway. And you can find one that will give you stability in your life. Otherwise, at least if everything is out on the table, y'all can fix it. That's the best part of it. That's why you don't need to worry. All right, let's get 3 astrology cards to close out this reading for Capricorn for October 2020. First card out is the sun, like I said, and we've got the sun here as well. We've got the sun out here twice, so things are going to be illuminated whether you like them or not, particularly when the sun goes into Scorpio. There's no need to worry. Don't be afraid. Let's get another one out here. We've got 11th house. I feel like this is like a side message. The 11th house is, well, no, it's not. The 11th house is the house of Scorpio. What was I saying? For a lot of you, we're talking about you are in a marriage or you are in a intimate relationship with someone. But 11th house also covers friends. I feel like that may be why this person doesn't have any judgment, because you guys have a solid relationship. Y'all are friends first. That's why there's not going to be any judgment here. Like, you guys have a very solid relationship. For those of you that are in a relationship, particularly a marriage. And I feel like, again, all of this is going to come up once Scorpio season hits or throughout Scorpio season. But again, you don't need to worry. Let's get one last card here, Capricorn. We've got Taurus. Where did I say this full moon is happening on October 31st? Taurus. Taurus. So again, for you, Capricorn, I feel like this full moon happening on October 31st is going to be very pivotal with respect to your romantic relationship, with respect to your marriage. Again, there's no need to worry. Feel free to be your authentic self, or allow your partner to be their authentic self. Have no judgment, and that love, that stability, that friendship that you have, that you want in relationships, can definitely be yours. All right, Capricorn, that has been your astro forecast and horoscope for the month of October 2020. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important message from this reading. If you would like to book a personal reading with me or order an astrology report, those links are in the description box below. This month of October, I am offering a special on my Messages from Spirit tarot readings. They're only $20 this month throughout the month of October. Click on the link below to schedule that. It's one of my clients' favorite readings, because rather than asking a question or figuring out what's important to ask, Spirit will tell you exactly what you need to know at that moment in time. Again, that's $20 throughout the month of October. Link is in the description box below. Schedule that as soon as you can. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Divine Feminine Works. Every week I do a series called The Week Ahead, where I do a quick and dirty tarot read and a quick and dirty astrology forecast for the upcoming week. I also have some really great content on my Instagram page, so follow me there so you don't miss any of that. As always, everything I do is a labor of love and comes straight from the bottom of my heart. Capricorn, if you feel so inclined and would like to tip me by buying me a coffee, that link is in the description box as well. Capricorn, my loves, as always, it is a privilege and an honor to read for you. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.